Hello then, and welcome to this brand new video. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. Now in this lesson, we are looking at factors and then multiples. What factors are and then what multiples are. So by the end of it, you should be able to understand and then be able to determine or find the factors and multiples of a given number. Without much I say, let's quickly look into it. So when we talk of factors, a factor is a number. It is actually a whole number that divides exactly into another without leaving a remainder. You see, so with this in mind, you should know your division, maybe your long division, and then what have you, right? So taking it once again, we said what it is a number. You get it? And for that matter, it is a whole number. You see, that divides another, or that divides exactly into another without leaving a remainder. So if there's a remainder, then that number is not a factor of it. You see. So in simple terms, or mathematically, then we are going to say that if you have A times B giving you a C, you see, then for this number C over here, A is its factor, and then B is also its factor, because you can divide C by A to give you what? B. And also you can divide C by B to give you A. That is the basic definition for what? Factors. Now, let's take some examples or some numbers and then try and then find its factors. So if we take 6, the number 6, and we want all the numbers in the world that can divide 6 without leaving a remainder, or we want all of its factors, then if you know your multiplication table, you can try saying those that give you 6. You see, so first of all, if you are saying a 1 time table, 1 times 6 gives us what? A 6. Then we can also say 2 times 3 gives us a 6. Is there any other multiplication you can do to give you 6? We have 3 times 2, but we wouldn't write 3 times 2 because we know it's the same as what? 2 times 3. You see, so I think for this now, there's no other. Hence, all these numbers here are factors of what? 6. They are the factors of 6. So as the factors of 6, I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, and then 6 itself. So this alone should tell you that 1 is a factor of every number. And then every number is a factor of itself as well. You get it? Let's take one last example. So we have 12 over here, and we want the factors of 12. You see, so you can say all the numbers that when you multiply them, they give you what? 12. I can say my 1 time table, and 1 times 12 gives me what? 12. I also know that a 2 times a 6 gives me a 12. I also know that a 3 times 4 gives me 12. Is there any 6 times 2? Is the same as the 2 times 6 over here. And 4 times 3 is also the same as the 3 times 4 over here. So we are done for the multiplication table. That gives us what? 12. Hence, to list out our factors, then we always have our 1, followed by our 2, followed by our 3, followed by our 4, followed by our 6, and then finally our 12. So these are what we call factors, and these are how you can get factors of a number. Let's look at multiples. So talking of multiples, on the other hand, a multiple is the result of multiplying a number by any whole number. You get it? A multiple is a result of multiplying a number by any whole number. And as a matter of fact, we can use the same idea we used earlier on. So that is, if you have A times B giving you what? C. You see, then we say that C here is a multiple of both A and then B. Because if you take A is multiplying a whole number to give you C. You get it? Also, if you take B is also multiplying a whole number to give you a C. So we call C a multiple. And in the previous one, we say A and B are factors. But here we are saying what? C is the multiple. You get it? So relating multiples to factors. For A times B is equal to C, we'll say C is a multiple of A and then B, while A and B are factors of what? C. You see that? So if you have to take 3, for instance, and we want the multiples of 3, then you just multiply 3 by any whole number at all to give you the multiples. For instance, you can start by multiplying 3 by 1, and that will give you a multiple of what? 3, which is 3 times 1 gives us 3. You can say 3 times 2. 3 times 2 gives us a 6. 3 times 3, and that gives us a 9. You see, all the numbers you get when you multiply 3 by any number, they are the multiples of 3. So writing them out, we can have our 3, then 6, 9, 12, 15, and it goes on and on and on. These are the multiples. You see that? The same time, if I say I want multiples of 5, so we want multiples of 5. So for multiples of 5, if we have our 5 here, let me just write that here. Then we are going to have what? 5 times 1. 5 times 1 gives us a 5. 5 times 2 gives us what? A 10. 5 times 3 gives us a 15. And you can go on and on and on to get your multiples of 5. So we have our 5, 10, 15, then 20, 25, and it goes on and on and on. So these are what we call multiples and factors. And I do hope you have been able to grasp this concept. As usual, I'll leave you with an exercise just to test your understanding. So we have these two set of questions here. The first one says you have to list all the factors of the numbers you see there. Then the second one, write the first 6 multiples. And there's a true or false question. That is this third one here. Whilst we have which number has more factors? Is it 12 or 15? Which of the following are multiples of 3? And then we have the second one also over here. I do hope and then believe that you'll be able to do them yourself. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If this is your first time visiting this channel, you can always choose to subscribe. That is if you so do wish, so that anytime I release a video, you'll be able to get access to it. Stay blessed and stay safe. Bye for now.